What does it take to come back from a career-threatening blood clot at 21 years old? For Victor Wembanyama, it meant disappearing across the globe, studying Kung Fu at a Shaolin temple, then returning to San Antonio for what he calls the most brutal training of his life. His teammates have never seen anything like it. One-on-one defensive sequences against every player in the gym without a single breather, sprinting end-to-end, then doing it all over again. Let's dive in. What's up, Spurs fans? Welcome to Spurs Quick News. Quick, sharp, and all about the silver and black. When deep vein thrombosis ended Wembanyama's second season in February, it wasn't just basketball that got taken away. The 21-year-old faced something far more sobering: hospital visits, sideline watching, and the terrifying reality that a blood clot in his right shoulder could travel to his lungs and become life-threatening. Chris Bosh had to retire when it happened to him at 32. And suddenly, Wembanyama understood that his anomalous 7'4" frame, all that talent and work, could be stopped by something completely out of his control. He averaged 24.3 points, 11 boards, 3.8 blocks, and 3.7 assists, before the diagnosis numbers only matched historically by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He was the front-runner for Defensive Player of the Year, already a unanimous Rookie of the Year from his first season, where he posted 21.4 points and 10.6 rebounds. But none of that mattered when your career and your life are suddenly on pause. Asterisk, asterisk. So here's my question for you. How would you respond if everything you worked for got ripped away overnight? Drop your thoughts below. Asterisk, asterisk. After doctors cleared the clotting issue and he could travel again, Wembanyama didn't just sit around feeling sorry for himself. He embarked on a journey to China and Japan, spending time at a Shaolin temple in Zhengzhou practicing Chan meditation and Kung Fu. This wasn't some celebrity vacation, it was a warrior monk's life. Over 1,000 kicks per day, balance drills, stretching, movements he'd never done before. He later called it some of the biggest muscle soreness of his entire life. The traumatic experience is very much linked to all the stuff I've done in the summer, Wembanyama explained at Media Day. There's a big feeling that life isn't forever, and there are some experiences we're going to miss out on. I'm going to miss out on the least that I can. When Wembanyama finally got medical clearance to return to basketball activities, he didn't just jump back into regular workouts. He joined Harrison Barnes in Los Angeles for 2 weeks with skill trainer Noah LaRoche, diving into something called the constraints-led approach, a system that ditches traditional drills for live-action scenarios that force your brain and body to constantly seek optimal solutions rather than fall back on predictable moves. Julian Champagnie was there and watched it all unfold. "I don't think I've ever seen someone work out like that," Champagnie told reporters. "It's crazy to see. That defensive drill, pure insanity. Wembanyama defends one-on-one against every player in the gym without a break. Once he's gone through everyone, he sprints to the other end and goes right back into it. While his teammates catch their breath between turns, strategizing how to beat him, Wemby just keeps going. No rest, no excuses." Asterisk, asterisk, if you're enjoying this breakdown and want more content like this, tap that subscribe button right now. Asterisk, asterisk, the CLA training teaches players to read the game at its essence, understanding principles, instead of memorizing plays. Ask Barnes about one affordance in a sequence, and he'll rattle off a 10-step flow of defensive rotations and offensive counters. By the second week, Wembanyama told LaRoche his body was beginning to understand these movements naturally. He was dropping preconceived notions about how to play and just letting his freakish abilities take over within the flow. "It was easy for him," Champagnie said. "He knew all the spots. He knew where to go. It wasn't as forced. It just shows him a different way of playing the game while still being able to do what he does." But here's what really stands out: the discipline. Wembanyama was doing 2-a-days 5 or 6 times per week, when most players can barely handle that schedule a couple times before the weekend. Early mornings, leaving late, coming back, leaving late again, making everyone around him last the entire day. Asterisk, asterisk. What do you think separates good players from great ones? Talent or discipline? Let me know in the comments. Asterisk, asterisk. Wembanyama's offseason wasn't just about basketball and spiritual journeys. After returning stateside, he visited NASA's Johnson Space Center and Axiom Space headquarters in Houston. Sitting at Media Day, the alien geeked out about meeting astronaut Peggy Whitson, who holds the American record for most time in space at 695 days. Just like a kid, seeing the machines and the aircraft, everything that's a replica of what's actually in space or going to space, that was incredible, he said. This curiosity isn't random or just a response to trauma, it's the foundation of Wembanyama's greatness. Head coach Mitch Johnson, who took over after Greg Popovich's stroke last season and is now the full-time head coach, sees something he's never witnessed before. For someone of his age, he is so intentional on the variety of ways that he tries to improve as a player and a person, Johnson said. It's really something I've never witnessed or experienced in my time. The physical transformation is real too. Wembanyama is now listed at 7'4" in socks and says he's heavier, stronger, and his conditioning has reached another level. My training this summer, it was brutal, he said. I chose to do something much more violent. Maybe that takes away from some time I can spend on shooting the basketball, but it doesn't matter. I wanted to get my body back. Asterisk, asterisk. Subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss updates on this incredible journey. Asterisk, asterisk. Newcomer Lindy Waters III experienced Wembanyama's intensity firsthand at training camp, and it opened his eyes. At his age, it's eye-opening to see somebody come in and demand excellence and demand greatness, Waters said. He can't do that without putting himself on that pedestal and making sure that nobody can come at him and say anything. It makes me want to work harder. That's exactly the culture Wembanyama wants to build. When asked what his vision is for this team's identity, his answer was crystal clear. Defense is non-negotiable. From game one of the preseason, if you want to be part of this team, you have to commit on that end. Status doesn't matter. Accountability matters. The second-year player, who already made all-defensive first team as a rookie, the youngest and first rookie ever to achieve that feat, is pushing even harder now. He finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting last season behind Rudy Gobert. This year, after everything he's been through, the goal isn't just winning awards. It's about maximizing every moment because Wembanyama now understands better than most how quickly it can all be taken away. I can assure you nobody has trained like I did this summer, Wembanyama said. This is my best summer so far. The progress is incredible. I feel better, I look stronger, and the scale says I'm heavier. Everything is a green light. Jeremy Sochan expects the public to be shocked by what Wembanyama brings this season. Champagne sees the consistency and thinks, he's going to be crazy in a couple of years, even more crazy than he is now. Asterisk, asterisk. What's the one aspect of Wemby's game you think will take the biggest leap this season? Playmaking, shooting, or something else? Let's discuss below. Asterisk, asterisk. Victor Wembanyama went to war with his own body this summer and came back stronger, mentally tougher, and more motivated than ever. He's living on borrowed time in the NBA that blood clot could return, but instead of playing it safe, he's pushing himself to levels most professional athletes never reach. That's what separates legends from everyone else. Asterisk, asterisk. If this added value to your Spurs perspective, like and share with a fan who needs this. Subscribe so you never miss a beat in this new Spurs era. Stay silver and black peace. Asterisk, asterisk.